morning, everyone. This is Miss Soma. So today I'm going to be discussing the concept of exponents, and eventually we will get to the powers of 10 or base 10. But before I'm going to discuss about the powers of 10, I want to show you first the concept of exponents. So let's say, for example, here I have a piece of paper. All right, so I would like you to think of exponents as the number of folds I'll be doing to this paper. And we are just going to start with a base of 2. All right, so if I am going to have 2 to the power of 1, so 1 is your exponent and 2 is your base. All right, so if I'm going to have 2 to the power of 1, that means I'm going to have 1 fold. Again, we're going to represent exponent here in terms of folds. So I'm going to do 1 fold to this paper. And then when I do 1 fold, how many sections did I get? I get 2. So if I'm going to do 1 fold, my result is 2 sections. Now we're going to do 2 to the power of 2. So that means 2 folds. So the first fold followed by the second fold. Now my result is 4 squares. So now my answer is 4. Now if I'm going to do to have 3 folds, so 2 to the power of 3, that means I'm going to fold it 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. So how many sections do you think will we get here? All right, so let's count. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2 to the power of 3 is 8. I'm going to do 2 to the power of 4. So we're going to do 4 folds. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Okay, so now let's count how many sections did we end up getting with. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So you end up with 16, okay? So now what happens if I am not going to do a fold? So I have this 1. I'm not doing any fold, so my answer is just 1 big section. Okay. Now you see the pattern here of my exponent. So 3, 2, 1, 0. What happens if I am going to have a -1 exponent? Okay. So that negative exponent, instead of folding, I am going to cut my paper. Okay, so I am going to do a fold. So 1 fold, but a cut. So I'm going to tear this one. Okay, so now how much did I get? I got half of my original paper. So my answer is 1/2. Okay, now what if I am going to do 2 to the -2? So that means I am going to do a cut twice. So now here's my first one, and then the second one. All right, so that's the result. So my result is actually 1/4 of the original piece. Okay, now we'll do 2 to the -3, and we'll just stop right there. All right, so if I have 2 to the -3, that means I would have to do 3 cuts. So now I would have to do one first cut, second cut, and I'm gonna do my third cut. All right, so here's my third cut. So again, it started from first cut, second, third. Okay, so if I do my third cut, so how much is this with respect to the original piece of paper that I have? So this is 1/4, so this is equivalent to 1/8. Okay, so now 2 to the negative 3 is 1/8. So now are you kind of like seeing the pattern here? So we started with just 2. 4, I can write this as 2 times 2. And look, how many 2's do I have? That's 2. And 8 can be written as 2 times 2 times 2. So I have 3 2's multiplied to each other. So now I have an exponent of 3 here as well. So are you seeing the relationship here? And then my 16, you probably can tell already using the pattern that this would be 4 2's. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And so 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. And look at this. I have 4 2's. I also have 4 as my exponent here. I only have 1 2. And then I only have 1 as my exponent. And no folds. My exponent is 0. So that's equivalent to 1. And then if I have 2 to the negative 1, so we are cutting papers here now. So this is just 1 over 2. All right, so now if you have 2 to the negative 2, that's equivalent to 1 over 4, which I can also write as 1 over 2 times 2. So there are 2 2's, and the exponent here is also 2. Okay, but this is just the reciprocal of 2 to the power of 2. All right, and then this one is 1 over 2 times 2 times 2. So I have the exponent here is 3, but since it's negative, so it becomes a reciprocal of 2 to the power of 3, so which gives you 1/8. All right, so now how is this related to the powers of 10, which is our goal for today? So our powers of 10, so let's look at over here. I'm not going to be folding papers because that would be too much to see. Okay, that would be 10 to the power 0. So let's look at the pattern. Followed by 10 to the negative 1, 10 to the power 1, 10 to the power 2. All right. All right, so if I have, again, no folds, remember? So that would be just 1. 10 to the power 1, so that's just 1/10. 10 to the power 2, that means there are 2 10's, which gives me 100. And if I would have 10 to the power 3, that would be 3 10's. 1, 2, 3, which is equal to 10 times 10 times 10, it's 1,000. And now if I will have 10 to the negative 1, this is just the reciprocal of your 10, and that's 10 over 1. So get the reciprocal of it, so that would be 1 over 10. And if I have 10 to the negative 2, that is just the reciprocal of 10 to the power of 2, so that is 1 over 10 times 10, which is 1 over 100. And if I would have 10 to the negative 3, it's the reciprocal of 10 to the power of 3. So that is 10 times 10 times 10, which is 1 over 1,000. And these fractions over here, we can read it as 1/10. So now you can write it also as 1/10. This is 1/100th. So now we can also write it as 1/100th. Okay, this is 1,000th. So now we can write it as 1,000th. All right, so let's summarize what we just learned. Okay, so if I have 10 to the power of 0, 10 to the power 1, 10 to the power 2, 10 to the power 3, 10 to the power 4. All right. So the expanded notation of this, so expanded, okay, would be 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. And then you will get the standard notation. So 10 times 10, 100 times 10, 1,000 times 10, 10,000. Okay. 10 to the power of 3 is 10 times 10 times 10. So that gives me 1,000. And then 10 to the power of 2 would be 2 tens. That gives me 100. And 10 to the power of 1 is just 1 10, which gives me a 10. 10 to the power of 0, this is 1. Remember those no folds that we got? So standard notation, it's still 1. And then we can have negative exponents. So 10 to the negative 1. So as from the pattern that we saw, this is just the reciprocal of 10 to the power of 1. So now it's 1 over 10, which is 0.1. All right, now 10 to the negative 2, it's 1 over, how many tens with this? This is a reciprocal of this right here. So now 10 times 10, which gives you 1 over 100, which is 100. Now 10 to the negative 3. So it's a reciprocal of your 10 to the power of 3. So that gives you 1 over 10 times 10 times 10, which is 1 over 1,000, which can be written as 1,000th. And then 10 to the negative 4 is a reciprocal of 10 to the power of 4. So that is 1 over 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, which is 1 over 10,000. And we can write it in decimal form as 1 tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 1/10,000th. Okay? And we're going to use this concept when I go over scientific notation later on. All right. Bye-bye.